What is up, everybody? I have a special update for you in this video, so let's just get right into it. So we finally began work on the 33. Got a lot of it apart, almost to the point where I can tell what's wrong with it and diagnose it. So if you guys haven't seen the previous videos on this car, this thing has been sitting since January. Long story short, about a year ago this time, I rebuilt the whole thing, took it to a machine shop, had them go ahead and machine the crankshaft, had them put in the right size bearings and all that stuff. Turns out they ended up putting the wrong size bearings in the crank, and long story short, just go check out the other videos if you want to see it. It is a disaster. So you know what, I just said, let's just rip it apart, take a look at it ourselves, and figure out what's wrong with it. It was knocking super loud, and they basically just destroyed this motor, potentially. I gotta go still look at it, but I'm pretty sure there's something really wrong with it. It's knocking really loud. 0 miles on this motor. Literally built it, started it, took it to the dyno, did some tuning on it, and then found out that I had a knock on the dyno. Super disappointing. Felt like somebody literally punched me in the stomach or kicked me in the nuts. It's for those of you guys that know, when you build a motor and you put all this sweat equity into it, you take all your time being diligent, torquing every single bolt right to spec, taking your time, making sure everything looks good, wiping it off, all of that, and then just to have this problem again. Like I said, just a kick in the nuts, punch in the stomach. So anyways, all that's behind us. We're moving forward on this. So what I'm going to do today in today's video, we are going to disassemble the whole front here. We're going to go ahead and get the cams out. We're going to go ahead and take off the coil packs. We're going to get the 2 cam pulleys taken off. We're going to take off this crank pulley. We're going to get the timing belt off, and then we'll get access to the head. Then I'll pull the head off, and then after that, we should have somewhat of an idea of what's going on with it. We'll take a look at the head, make sure that it's all in good standing, but we're pretty much there, guys. So let's go ahead and just get right into start working on this. For those of you who don't know, you got to go back and check out the previous videos, especially when I put all this together. Fired it up for the first time. The cam install, that was pretty awesome. So right away, you guys, I already found something kind of interesting. If you look, all of these spark plug, like, I guess cylinders, you can call them, where the housing of the spark plug goes into, you can see it's pretty clean. Here on number 5, look how dirty it is. And so looks like to me maybe there's just oil leaking in there. It could be from this gasket right here. It kind of looks like it was seeping in there, so maybe this wasn't as tight right here and it was seeping a little bit of oil in there. But when I take this off, I'm going to go ahead and keep an eye on this section here just to make sure that there's nothing going on there. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this crank pulley off right here. There's usually a bolt that goes in, this bolt right here. Usually always goes in the center of it, and then so I'm gonna put a puller on there. I'm gonna pull this off, and then I'll get access to this cover. We'll pull this cover off, and then I will get these off, pull the cam gears out as well, and then this all come off. Super simple. So this is probably like a 10-minute thing. So quick update, got the crank pulley off, got the cover off, and then I went ahead and took this plate off right here, so you can see cam pulleys are exposed. Aren't they beautiful? These HKS ones are sweet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 4 bolts off. It'll loosen up this cam pulley. Take these 4 off right here. Loosen up this cam pulley. Take it off. Take off the timing belt. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and disassemble the cams. So I'll take each one of these off. They are labeled. Intake side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhaust side, same thing, all the way through 7. We'll be able to pull these cams out. Then we'll be able to get the lifters out from underneath that. And then the inside here, you can see right there, we're going to go ahead and get these head bolts out, and then the head will pull out, and then, yeah, we can't forget the spark plug either. But I know I just said a lot right there, but honestly, it's only going to take like 20 minutes tops to do all this. It's super fast. It's easy when you just got to undo some stuff, so let's go ahead and get into it. always like to make sure that I take things off by hand, really put things on by hand. Unless it's something that's super crazy that requires a lot of torque, then I'll use some air tools, but that way you can really get a feel for it. There's something to be said about doing things by hand. You can really get a feel for how everything works, and if it's threading in correctly or not, or if it's threading out correctly, or stripping things. So that's just one thing. It's preference for me, but it's just one thing that I found works for me, so that way I can feel everything going in. And okay, so got the whole front pretty much it's got the whole front pretty much disassembled. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take off these brackets right here holding in the cam. Super simple. Cams pop out, and then we're going to go ahead and do the spark plugs, and then we'll get access to the head bolts, and then we'll be able to take the head off. One thing I'm going to check out too, because I did put new cams in, see if that had anything to do with the knock. I really don't think so, because the machine shop is the one that screws that up. So, but always be on the cautious side. I like to think that I'm good at what I do and I put things back together correctly, because I triple check absolutely everything, make sure it's all torqued correctly and all that. So, I mean, I highly doubt that it was something on my end. For the record, I think these cam bolts, I gotta re-look at it because I've worked on so many vehicles since I worked on this in the last year, but I want to say that the torque spec on these cam bolts is only like 35 foot-pounds or something. So, I mean, it's not like they're super cranked on there or anything like that. Bracket pops off. There's another one. Sorry. Technically, number 5. Again, these are all numbered, so it's not like you have to keep a big amount. So it's not like you got to keep track of it super hardcore. They're all mounted. Obviously one being up front. That's easy to tell because this one has a big hump on it for the number 1. So easy to work on. So over the 11 years that we've owned this car, I want to say I've rebuilt this thing 5 times. And I should say not rebuilt, I should say taken apart the motor about 5 times. And only 2 of those times has it been to where I actually need to replace something in the bottom end. The very first time when we got this, we did blow the piston rings. When we got it, it was pushing 420 horsepower, so we needed to get the rings out for that. And then that lasted till about 2017 or so, and then around then we had to start working on this. The car really hasn't ran super well since then. Alright, got number 7. First cam is out. Got all the brackets off. Exhaust cam is out. Easiest way to get all these lifters out, magnet. Bam. Super simple. And the last 2. So all the lifters are out. You can see where the lifters go. You have these retainers in here and springs. And so I'm going to go ahead and look and make sure that nothing's out of place on those. And then yeah, all we have to do, take the spark plugs out, super simple. And then we take out each one of these head stud bolts, and head's ready to come off. All right. All the spark plugs are loose. You can tell a lot by the spark plugs too. Like once I take these out, if it's fouled, that'll tell a story. So these are brand new plugs also. So we'll see what we find here. This could be very interesting. But I know for a fact the crank's gonna have to come out, and we're gonna have that crankshaft looked at, just because the machine shop decided they wanted to put the wrong size rod bearings in. And yeah, who knows what kind of damage that did to the crank around there. I have had the pan off before. They did send me the right size bearings, and I put those on after talking with them. I measured the clearances and everything, and it didn't look like there was much difference from when they put the wrong size bearings on to the time I started it up to the time that I put the right ones back in. But you're talking thousands upon thousands of inches here, and so who knows what kind of stuff happened there. Alright, spark plug 1, this looks good. This is what you want to have right here. Nice fire all the way around. Still has the tip. Everything looks good on that one. Spark plug 2 does look a little fouled, could be running rich. Spark plug 3 looks good. Spark plug 4 looks pretty good. And this is the one I'm concerned about, 5. Yeah, look at that oil. See that? Not a good sign at all. And there's water in there, which could be the signs of a head gasket on top of everything. 6 looks decent. So who knows? Maybe the head gasket, in the midst of everything too, decided it wanted to let go. So we'll know here in a second. All right, so we got the head off the car. This is what everything's looking like. So you can see the pistons here all looking pretty good. Again, number 5 looked like I might have had some coolant in it. So there you go. You can kind of see on the ends there. It's not as consistent as these with that. So there may have been something there with the head gasket. But yeah, all that's left is we got to take off these motor mount bolts, take off the 5 for the transmission, and then that's it. And then we can put this thing on the engine stand, pull the oil pan out, and see what's going on with those rods and bearings. So this is everything we took off. Got the spark plugs, we got our head studs, crank pulley, all of those lifters, intake cam, exhaust cam. We got all kinds of hoses here, the gasket, we got the head. So we'll go ahead and inspect this, make sure it's all good. Took off the coil packs, valve covers, timing belt, got the cam covers underneath there. Then down here, got the exhaust manifold. If you guys haven't seen this thing before, it is beast. This thing is awesome. Got the turbo hidden back there. Got the alternator. Got our aluminum radiator, all the intake piping and all that. So we're pretty much there. Like I said, 4 engine mount bolts, 5 transmission bolts. This thing's gonna come out, put it on the engine stand, go ahead and take a look at everything. So again, I can't believe the machine shop screwed up. I got $30,000 in this motor, and I can't believe that the machine shop just messed it up with the bearings. It's going to take me a long time to get over that, probably up until this thing's running again. So, but anyways, wanted to give you guys an update on the 33, so hope you enjoyed today's video. This thing should be running soon. I got an engine builder hopefully lined up here in the next few weeks, and then that way we can get this beast back on the road. Putting it back together should be super quick too. Tune's already good to go on this. Once I get it back together, it'll be good to go for break-in period. Got the oil, got everything ready to go. We just need to figure out what this thing is, diagnose it, put it back together. But that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Just like that, Shane Cho's out. Peace.